Hey there everybody, it's me Patrick, and today I'm going to be talking about UFC Fight Night 119, Brunson Vs Machida. I'm going to give you the post-fight breakdown. So starting off the fight, Machida did his usual thing of always backtracking and staying elusive, trying to get Brunson to start chasing him. Brunson was the fighter coming forward the whole fight. So Machida has always had trouble fighting other southpaws since his money punch is a counter left hand, and fighting an orthodox opponent opens up the path for his rear hand a lot more than fighting another southpaw. When you're fighting someone who's in the same stance as you, the lead hand has an easier time finding your opponent, whereas if you're fighting somebody who's in the opposite stance as you, it's the rear hand that has an easier time finding your opponent. And it looked like Machida understood this as he was throwing a jab, but it looked really awkward and it wasn't doing anything. The first time he counters Brunson is off of Brunson's rear hand and he beats Brunson to the punch and gets out safely to the side. As well as the second time, it's off Brunson's jab and he barely makes it out safely. But the third time, Brunson steps in and rather than throwing a punch, he lets Machida counter against his guard. And then as Machida tries to circle out with his hands low and chin high, Brunson catches him with the left hook. So pretty quickly, Brunson realized that instead of throwing a punch, he said, I'll step in, let him hit my guard, and then I'll throw a punch afterwards, rather than I'll step in, throw a punch, and I'll get caught as I throw that punch. Brunson didn't really have to worry about anything coming after the first punch Machida throws because Machida never throws combinations, never throwing more than one punch at a time. And Brunson knew that Machida was going to circle to his left because that's what a lot of southpaws do. They'll throw their rear hand and try to escape to their opponent's left because that's the thing you're supposed to be doing against orthodox fighters because you're moving away from the power hand. So this fight basically just showed that the Machida riddle that everybody always talks about isn't a riddle anymore, and he definitely has trouble against southpaws as he is 0-3 against southpaws in the UFC. Another habit that was showing during this fight was his habit that he showed in every single fight is that after he punches, he has his hands really low and chin very high. Something that you see in a lot of karate practitioners because karate sparring is just point sparring and you don't have to really worry about covering yourself up after you land a strike because that's the break in action. So if you just sit back on your punches or just cover up and let Machida strike against your guard, you have a pretty good chance of catching him as he tries to circle out if you have a good left hand. So what I want to see for Machida, I either want him to retire or the UFC should just give him an easy fight. A fight that I think would be really good and would sell a lot would be a rematch with Shogun Rua, and it would be a retirement match for both of them, and you could just set it in Brazil because they're both Brazilian, and I think that'd sell a lot of tickets. For Derek Brunson, Machida is a good name for his mantle, but it would have been bigger if he fought Machida, I don't know, 4 years ago. Brunson did a good job noticing that Machida only threw one punch at a time and was circling out to his right, but Brunson still showed the things that have been kind of plaguing his career, and that is he threw his punches with his chin well ahead of him. And what that means is that a really good counter striker at middleweight like Rockhold is going to give him a really hard time. So I'm going to say give him Chris Weidman. That'll be an interesting match. There'll be two strong wrestlers going at each other, and Derek Brunson is a southpaw, but Chris Weidman, he has the most experience fighting southpaws in the UFC since I think his last 6 fights, 5 of his opponents have been southpaws. Thanks for watching everyone, hope you enjoyed the breakdown, I hope you liked the video, like it if you did. Comment your thoughts on the fight and who you want Brunson to fight next and whether or not you want to see Machida fight again or retire. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks, peace.